Dude, we had some games of the week, and one of them, I think that was your game of the week that you have here. First up, is that correct?
Lions Packers.
Yeah, yeah. Go ahead and tell me how bad that game was.
I I don't think it was a bad game. I think the defenses in on both sides were good. Um, but as much as we said about like the Lions getting everybody back on defense, it didn't really seem to matter week one because Jordan Love looked decent and they kept Josh Jacobs bottled up all game until the second half later on in the game. Um, so they did all right, the Lions defense, but still 27 points out of a Jordan Love led wide receiver two legion of the Packers. Not necessarily what we're expecting out of just the type of things that we were saying about that Lions defense coming into the season.
You can have all the talent in the world, and we can sit here and say that they've got on paper, one of the better defenses, and they do. They showed it last year. Offensively and defensively, losing their offensive and defensive coordinator, that is huge. I
Yeah,
think,
I
and we
think
talked
that's
about how big the struggles could be for them. I think we underplayed how big the struggles are going to be because
I didn't
they
think it
look
was
like a
going to
powerhouse
affect
on
them.
paper.
I didn't
It
I didn't and
shouldn't.
I mean honestly that's not necessarily what was going through my mind. Um like seeing the results, but you might have a point there.
It shouldn't, right? Like when we look at these guys, like Jared Goff has been in the league for a while. Amon-Ra St. Brown is one of the best receiver, a top three, top five receiver in the league, hands down. They've got one of the better tight ends in the league. They've got an amazing running back room with Jahmyr Gibbs and David Montgomery, even coming off of an injury. Offensive line wise, they're very stout. Defensively, we've already mentioned that. On paper, these guys, like, you should just be able to run them out there and be able to. They should be able to be a competent team. That did not look like a competent team on Sunday against the Packers. They made. I'm still going to hold to it. I don't think the Packers are really that good, even with the addition of Micah Parsons. Defensively, they're much better than they were with him. I still don't think as a team, offensively and defensively, they're all that worrisome to
You
play
know,
against and scheme
starting out the
against.
season holding the Lions to 13 points is a good start.
That's a
So
great
if
start.
they start to repeat those results,
We'll have a different
I'm
conversation.
gonna go ahead and say that they might have one of the best defenses in the NFL this season.
Need to see it more than one time. I would agree. I'll still hold my ground until consistently proven wrong. But the Lions, you got to pick it up. You got way too much talent out there, and a lot of guys that are needing to be paid real soon if they haven't been already.
Yeah, I mean they never got gashed in the run game. Like Josh Jacobs only had 66 yards. So realistically, I like so if what I'm about to say is about the Packers coaching staff and what they can do with this offense because I don't think it's truly going to be driven by Jordan Love and that's weird to
Yep,
say and you can say what you want about my hate for Jordan Love, but
I'm with you.
truthfully, if the Packers offensive coaching staff can keep Jordan Love out of his own way, not put him in situations where he's trying to be a gunslinger, this team will do well. The defense, if they keep repeating what we saw week one, is great, and the Packers have good enough skill weapons on offense that if they can keep Jordan Love from making stupid mistakes, they'll no doubt in my mind make the playoffs and be a surprise team for going deeper, especially in the NFC.
My game of the week was an absolute barn burner. We had the Tampa Bay Buccaneers who barely squeaked it out. This one against the Falcons,
What
23-20.
is your
It should have
definition
gone.
of a barn burner? Because I thought that meant it was like a high scoring game.
You could go that route. You could also just say like, hey, this one
Because the
literally
Sunday
came
night
down.
game was more of a barn burner to
That
me
was a
than a 23 to
yeah. I
20.
mean, if you want to compare it, yeah, sure, fine. That's a 40-41 is definitely a barn burner, but for the Sunday slate. I
I'd
thought
say
this one
tightly
was.
contested.
It came down to the wire. You had a missed
Great
kick.
show. Never watched it actually. Sorry.
Fantastic show. It came down to the wire. You had Young who is known for missing big kicks, is also known for making big kicks. He is a
I don't know how
50-50 guy.
that adds up, but go ahead. Go off.
50-50. Well, hey, he missed this one and just blew the game. It was the ability to send it into overtime, and the Falcons kept up, man. A team that like we had high hopes for last year. Those hopes were diminished coming into this year for the most part.
How
Even
did
though
Kyle Pitts do? I didn't catch
Kyle
this game.
Pitts had a fantastic like in comparison to what he has done previously outside of his rookie season, it was a fantastic game. If you had him in fantasy, I hoped you started him because in most leagues he had well above 10 points. It fell anywhere between, depending on how you score your leagues, 12 and like 18 points. He had a really good game. He had a really good game. Um, I don't know if that continues. Greg London did not have a really good game. Who had a really good game for the Falcons? It was Bijan. Bijan and Michael Penix. Dude, Bijan was catching. We talked about this with the Chiefs. We need a running back who can catch out of the
We
backfield.
need Bijan Robinson.
We need Bijan Robinson.
We need a top 5 draft pick, okay? Like to add to our Super Bowl winning franchise.
There
We
was
need a
no,
we need a top 5 draft pick, okay? Truthfully.
there was nothing that anybody for Tampa, and they have a good defense. They held the Falcons to 20. They held Drake London to almost nothing in that game. Bijan was tearing it up. The two biggest factors in this game, one for the Falcons, Bijan, two for the Buccaneers. It was Mbuka or Egbuka. Mika Egbuka
Mika
had
Egbuka.
a
Dude,
fantastic
as
game,
soon
two
as
tutties.
soon as I saw that McMillan was going to be missing some time and Godwin wasn't ready to come back, I was like,
You
there's
had to go get
there's
him.
so much being said about this receiver already before that. Just the fact that he got that the fact that they drafted him, like, yes, we to like us two, we saw that coming. We saw that coming.
It is. I'm thoroughly surprised at how much chemistry him and Baker Mayfield have together already. I mean, to kind of have to be the Chris Godwin, to be the guy who needs to get open, to be the complementary piece to Mike Evans. Um, uh, they were even, by the way, pretty much. He had two less targets than Mike Evans. He had one less reception than Mike Evans, and had what is that? 16 more yards than Mike Evans, and he had the two touchdowns. Like him and Baker Mayfield were on the same page. Baker honestly really didn't play all that well. A little bit over 50% accuracy or completion percentage, under 200 yards. Still had three passing touchdowns, so did enough to get it all done. The other one was to Bucky, but they really didn't have like a rushing game. It looked very much like the Chiefs game in terms of rushing. Baker Mayfield led the backfield in yards. Bucky Irving only had 37 yards, 2.6 yards a carry. Offensively, they were kind of stifled for the run game. Passing worked out pretty well for them. Atlanta, as defense,
Falcons have a decent defense.
they were very good last year. The offense couldn't keep up. The Falcons lost this game. I think it has to come down to a lot of mental mistakes that were happening in this game. The Falcons are going to be a team that can compete in a poor NFC. It's going to come down to the Bucs and the Falcons
Eventually,
on who
right? Like
wins the
I
division.
don't see them pushing for the playoffs this year, but I really
I do.
do think the roster is good enough to be like a contender soon.
If
Like
if this if this division, if you can put out two teams that are above 500, I don't see that being an issue of why the NFC South can't send both the Bucs a winner.
I don't think
We
it
said it was
matters.
the Bucs who was going to win, and the Falcons. I think that can happen
Well,
because I
so
think you have some weak
that's your
divisions.
reigning champion of that division is the Bucks,
Yep,
and they came close. They played them real tough. They played them really well.
both
But
games
like you were
last year
saying, the
too.
mental mistakes as a team who hit like isn't necessarily used to being in those kind of games or playing at a certain level, like you're going to get those growing pains, which is why I'm saying they probably figure a lot of stuff out this season to become more of a contender next season. I still don't think they push for the playoffs much
That's
this year.
that's fair. I'm also seeing this from the standpoint of I have two other like there's three very weak divisions in the NFC. It's the North, it's the South, it's the West. And I'm putting Tampa Bay and Atlanta over most of those teams in the North and in the West.
Okay.
That's just where my mind is going. Like if you're only sending one team from the West because that division is poor, I think you can send two from the South.
How'd I do in Pick'em? Or do you
You
want
want
to
to talk
talk
about
about
our
Ravens Bills?
Yeah, I do want to talk about Ravens Bills because that was our final game of the week. A little consensus here, and it was, as
Why
Tybo wants to call it,
we can talk about
Bub.
two perennial AFC contenders that have a better season outlook than the Chiefs right now? Yeah, let's talk about
They do. They have a better
it.
outlook, man. If it was not for Derrick Henry's fumble, or if John Harbaugh decided to go for it on fourth down on the Ravens' own 40-yard line, Ravens win this game.
Sure.
And Josh Allen pulled the chiefiest Chiefs he possibly could 13-second game and went out there and listen, you give the Bills
With a
offense
40
a
some
shot.
odd year old decrepit kicker that looks like he's like 80.
Yeah, dude, he didn't look good. Guy got off of a red eye and had to catch up on some sleep in a couple of days. Came out there, still knocked it through. Um, I'll tell you what though, the Bills were down bad in this game. And you can't take anything away from this
It
comeback.
was
They
how
did
many
not look
unanswered
good.
points in the
Uh,
second half?
it was 40-25 with 3.5 minutes left to go in the fourth quarter.
No, but it was worse than that. It was 30 something to like 12 or 13, wasn't it?
Yeah, yes, it was. Yeah, going into the second half, it was bad. And the third quarter, the Ravens were still putting it up on them. In most of the fourth quarter, the Ravens were still putting it up on them. And then literally 40-25, 3.5 left to go. The Bills go back and just they conquer the comeback. They look good. Kia, I'll tell you what, the thing that has surprised me the most, a guy that I did not think was going to break out this season, and he looked very comfortable, at least in the second half of this game. Keon Coleman. Keon Coleman, a guy that we've been very critical of, and I want to wait to see some more consistency before I change my opinion. But in this game, in the second half, he looked very good. Keon Coleman, if you can get consistent, you're going to change a lot of opinions outside of Buffalo around you.
Meh.
James Cook also had a great game defensively. Here's the other thing, though. One thing that's not going to get talked about enough. Obviously, Lamar and obviously Josh Allen, two of easily the best quarterbacks in the league. There's no discussion to be had about it. Those defenses, woof. Both of them are giving up 40 points. That doesn't bode well if the Kansas City Chiefs get it together.
True.
That does not bode well for if any other team can also play a little bit of defense and make some stops. Yeah, you can come back. That's fine. But if you have a team who is consistent in historically what the Chiefs have been able to show you, allowing both of each of those teams to put up 40 points, that doesn't bode well for your future.
Well, I mean,
And
those
I'll throw
there's
this stat
like I
out here.
said,
Hang on, Tybo.
perennial
I want to
contenders there. Like
score, but I'll
if
also
they
throw this
let
stat
up
out
40
there.
points to the Jaguars, we might need to be concerned. But
There's only one team in NFL history who has given up 40 points in a game and still made the Super Bowl.
that's us.
Uh, no.
Oh,
I don't remember who it is off the top of my head. I think maybe the Eagles. I
well, then why
apologize. I
bring up
can't.
the stat?
I
I
cannot
should
remember
fine you for
who it
that.
is. It is not the Kansas City Chiefs, but there's only one team in NFL history, Super Bowl era, that's given up 40 points in a game during the regular season and still made the Super Bowl. So that
It'd be
historically
nice
that
to
does
know
not
who
bode
now that you
well.
brought it up. But thanks for that.
Fill for me. Let me chat GPT this thing.
Dead air, dead air. Hey Google. Hey Siri. Alexa. Cortana. What? Damn it. I'm,
You're running out.
the AI system in the Alien franchise is called Mother, which it turns against the crews in most of the movies. Mother is a part of the evil corporations, and the evil corporations want to study the xenomorph, which is a completely asinine thought in my like. You you witness anything that alien, the xenomorph, is capable of, and you're like, yeah, let's like dissect it and like bring it in for questioning. I don't know.
I believe it was the Arizona Cardinals.
When they lost to the Steelers, so they made it to a Super Bowl, but they didn't even win it. This stat is more
Yes, it was
disappointing than ever, Ty Bob.
okay. The all it was to tell you that whoever gives up 40 points in a game in the regular season does not make the Super Bowl. That's all I was saying.
Well,
So historically, neither the
neither
Ravens
of
nor the
those
Bills
teams,
are making the Super Bowl this year.
neither of those teams have made the Super Bowl in the last 10 years.
And they won't this year. You're
My,
welcome.
that's my point, is that they won't, regardless of how much points they give up on week one.
To pick them, there's one game left, the Monday night game. It's kicking off here very shortly in a few minutes, time of recording. But to give us a little teaser with one game on the line, Sean and I have both picked the Bears at 1.5 to cover. The Vikings have been taken by Tybo, who need to win by 2 or more points. And Tybo really needs the Vikings to cover here because in third place, he has a record of 4 wins and 11 losses. We did
What a
all
week.
three of us started off the
What a
week
week.
very rough with picking the Eagles and the Chiefs to win their games or cover. Neither of them did. But yeah, so
And
Tybo rolls out 4-11. Sean in second place at 7-8. He cannot do better than me because I also chose the Bears at 8-7 so far on the week. I'm just the opposite of Sean. So Tybo, if the Vikings win, you can cover a little bit of ground. You're only 3 games
5 and
currently
11.
behind Sean.
Hell
You can make
yeah.
it 2.
It's okay.
Um,
I had some really good
you can
weeks
get worse.
last season after some poor weeks as well. So like coming back in this race, it's a long
You
race. It's very possible.
you've always got a good Kim Kardashian story there.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Comeback king, some would say for Tybo,
Comeback. I thought you were referring to Kim Kardashian. She would be the comeback queen.
and that would make you the
There's
king.
always come on her back.
Well, I guess it wouldn't
Thank you,
make you the
Chris
king
Pratt,
because you haven't
and thank
won.
you, Parks and Rec, for fostering the environment that led to that joke.
Shout
Parks
out
and
you.
Rec is better than The Office.
The Office isn't very good. We'll be
Go
back
Chiefs.
at the end of the week to cover upcoming NFL week 2, where the Eagles do take on the Chiefs. We'll see a Super Bowl matchup and a couple other good games. So make sure to stay tuned. Until next time, go Chiefs.
Oh, I get to do that because I'm going to the game.